So I'm here today with Corey.
I'm hiding.
And he's hiding behind the camera, but I was going to show him one of my latest DIY projects based on the Easy Flow adapter kit. Or we're just going to call it the Easy Flow kit now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it was this breeder box. Now, many of you out there use the Fluval breeder box or the Marina breeder box. They're both, that's a tongue twister. They're both the same, but what I did is I hooked up the Easy Flow kit to the breeder box, and now I'm getting no glug, glug, glug. I just get a smooth, even flow into the box. And I, of course, can adjust that up or down as I want, higher flow, lower flow, but it works really good. So what I had originally done is basically just used super glue, which, by the way, you can now get from Aquarium Co-Op. And, you know...
you save a little bit of money buying ours compared to what we used to sell. But
and the tube is bigger, I noticed. That's the first thing I noticed.
Yeah.
Because so much, you go to the store and you get these little tiny tubes. So what I did is I glued half of a bio ball to the bottom.
Here, show what a bio ball is for people that don't know.
This is half of one.
Yeah, just meant to grow bacteria in a big filter normally.
Right, in like a canister or
and not clog up.
A sump and not clog up. I found out that super glue will stick to this plastic.
I found that out early. I've been doing lots of super gluing and trying stuff.
So there's so many plastics that super glue won't actually stick to, but this one it does, and the bio ball it does. So I just glued that to there. Now, why is that there? It's basically just a screen so that fish don't accidentally go up the tube and get stuck. That's the only reason it's there. No other reason. So Corey's over, and I'm showing him this cool invention. And we're going to show you how I actually converted this whole thing in a minute. But he's like, well, why not a sponge filter? And I'm looking at it, I'm getting over here from the side, and I'm looking at it from the side, and like, why not? I couldn't think of a reason why not to. So it turns out you can buy this whole nano sponge filter, which includes the Easy Flow kit now.
Yep.
And you got all the pieces necessary to turn the Fluval breeder box, which I'm trying to get Corey to make. Randy, are you out there?
Well, let's make a better one. There's flaws to it, like that one's broken, for instance.
This one came broken.
Yeah.
I glued it back with super glue.
And that's why I say I don't sell them, is they always break in shipping too often.
Yeah, and on top of broke, it's cracked here also. So it had to take a pretty good ding. Right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, you could figure out where to get this if you can't get it at the co-op, but it basically...
Probably a local partner store. Now that we have over 150 stores, you can probably walk in and pull one off the shelf.
That's probably true, yeah.
They're fine to get to a store. It's shipping them out of a warehouse that's the problem.
Right. So, I don't have the rest that comes with this, but it's basically a lift tube, and it brings water into the box.
A tiny tube, you attach air to it, and it has the standard sponge filter glug, glug, glug problem.
Yeah, and I threw it away when I realized this was the solution. So, here's what we did, or what I did. Pop this tube out. I need a piece of straight tubing. Now, here was the magic to this. Wet the O-ring a little bit, and Corey had to have this in mind when he made this product. Watch this. This one's loose, Corey.
Uh-oh. What'd you do?
I don't know. You can make that adapter work somehow. You might have to go to the store and get a slightly bigger O-ring. That's a possibility because this O-ring just fits in a little groove. And just pop it in there, find an O-ring that fits, right? I will find out the size of O-ring to buy, and it will be somewhere in the description.
Fair enough. Hopefully Amazon so everybody can order it.
Either Amazon or Home Depot.
All right.
So, let's move on. We basically just cut the pipe to the straight part with my pole saw.
It cuts when you pull, not when you push.
Cuts when you pull, not when you push. Try not to leave junk on the fish room floor. And I usually just clean the frays up with a hobby knife. It's pretty easy to do. So if we pop this on there and pop this on there and pop an airline on here, let's just see. And you know, this is something that I personally haven't tested yet. So let's just see if this works. So this is going to go on here, right?
Yep.
In the tank? In the tank. Okay. I'm going to start with it expanded a little bit so I can just push down.
Yeah.
Can I use this tank? Is that okay with you?
Works fine for me compared to the one you already made.
There you go. Drop this baby in there. Push this down into the slot. Whoa, that works pretty dang slick, Corey.
Nice, gotta get some air.
Oh, I have air. I just gotta open this valve.
Here's where it explodes.
So, a little bit of water. Let's get this out of the way.
There you go, no glug.
Do you hear that glugging? That's just a smooth, consistent flow. It's not going bloop.
I wish we had the original one just because, well, anyone's going to do this DIY knows
the original sound.
Because you can, I visit a lot of fish rooms, you know exactly like, yep, they got Marina breeders going. You can get a lot of flow going, actually. Too much, honestly.
Yeah, that's way too much for fry, but I'm just filling it right now. Now, I'm trying to get it to the glugging part, where you're pushing more air than...
Yeah, you have to push the easy flows really hard to get them... There you go, you got the surge. It's
now
actually called a surge.
Yeah, see down here?
Yep. It actually, so what happens is the bubbles go up, they form a big bubble, and it creates like an air pocket, and so it's like...
So, I'm much more liking it down.
And that's what the old system used to do with these, is that surging. So now...
I would use about this much flow.
Sure. I'd say use it about that much flow over there. Because that's what you were using.
Yeah. Oops, I'm turning the knob the wrong way, sorry.
And so, yeah, you use these little fry boxes for fry. And you actually do a little modification as well, because...
Yes, I was going to show you that.
Because not just that mod, it's also mods we don't sell.
So there's a little screen on the outflow.
Yeah, a little plastic screen.
And I usually just take a piece of sponge. You cut this sponge from anything that you have. Aquarium type sponge.
Sure, good point.
So it could be an old filter sponge. It could be an old pre-filter sponge. Pretty much anything, you cut it out as long as it's an aquarium sponge. You don't want anything that's
yeah, we're almost to the top there.
And it's just about to flow.
Yep, just did.
Did it?
Yep, I can see it flowing.
Okay. Yep, it's going out.
I think it's flowing over now.
By the way, if you do use a sponge, soak it a couple times when you first put it in there. Otherwise, you're going to overflow.
Yeah, it's got that little overflow built in right here.
Yeah.
You don't want it overflowing here, your fry will go out. But it's if it got backed up, you'd rather have the fry go in the tank and the water not go on the floor.
Right.
So.
Okay, so we're full.
So now it's been 2 to 3 weeks.
Box is working.
Yeah.
Shut the air off. Take this out for right now. And now I can take this off. Excuse the floor. It's a fish room floor, so don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt it. If it's your kitchen floor, you might want to. And I can take this out, move all of this to a 510, and you've already got a filter that is totally ready to go. It's all cycled.
It's used to handling the load of those fish.
Yeah, and it'll handle that. You can take the fry box, just dump them in the tank. That's pretty cool.
There went your fry. They're on the floor now.
I'm sorry. It's a fish room floor. So yeah, so that works pretty slick, I think, all in all. If you want, if you've cut this up, stick it in the other end, and you still have a little bit of flow direction. Direction.
You still get all the flow. It's just the directionality of it.
Right.
And you can either buy the kit and do it with, something as an intake screen.
Right.
Or if you buy the nano sponge, that does everything you did, plus you got to get an O-ring.
Buy the flow we're talking about this, by the way. Let's get it so we can see it. Good? Good.
Yeah.
So you get directional flow throughout the tank.
Now you'd be raising those fry just like these little midnight rams.
Yep.
You'd be good to go. Now, if you got a big fish room, you probably have cycle tanks anyway, but especially if you were the weekend warrior and you got fry and you didn't have a tank set up and you just wanted to raise a batch of angels or something, this would get you by in, an Amazon Aquarium Co-op pinch. Order from both of us. A few days later, you'll have all those parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got 2 or 3 weeks to set up a tank.
Yeah.
And you already have the cycled sponge filter.
And it works. Now, we're going to try a few other things, maybe not today, using some of the other products that you can grab online through the co-op. But the Easy Flow adapter, as you can see around the room, I've got it going on almost every sponge filter.
Yep.
Love it.
The air collar, yep.
These tanks here, these 3.5s, are running Matten filters using the Easy Flow adapter. The 2 tanks up top are using corner Matten filters using the Easy Flow adapter, and I just love the flow pattern that it gives at the surface of the tank. I've used Matten filters for a long time.
Yeah, like here's a Matten filter right here.
Right.
And it's definitely a little more gluggy, and
yeah,
you can see the much bigger bubbles, and yeah, tons of fry does the job, but you're not getting that super nice
aesthetics. Let's call it aesthetics.
It looks good, and it's quieter. I know it's quieter.
It's definitely quieter.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
That's a quick little DIY, and as I'm coining it now, the DIY.
There you go.
Half of it is, why would you do that, Dean?
The
other half is like, all right, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good DIY.